just we continue to search for somebody to take ownership, to help us defend better. We're just defensively, we're really bad. We continue to have bad moments in games from a standpoint of giving up some bad runs. I mean, we had that moment in the first half, and then, we kind of battled a little bit and cut it to, I think it was 7. And there were 2 loose balls on back-to-back plays that they're right there for us to get, but we don't make that play, and then they score, and then they just go on a 13-0 run and pop it to 20 again. And we just can't avoid those moments of the game right now. And I think Missouri shot 60% from the field, if I'm not mistaken, 58 or something like that. We're just not very good defensively right now. Our resolve needs to be a lot better.
Dave?
Hey, Frank, thanks for doing this. Just you're around the guys obviously a lot more than we are. How have the losses and the losing streak affected them? Are they still, pretty chipper, engaged with each other? Just what's the mood of the team as you guys try to get it back together?
They were real good in practice yesterday. I got no complaints about when we don't practice well. I tell you guys, I wouldn't say that just to say something positive. We don't practice. We don't practice well. I've always told you guys, and I thought yesterday's practice was really good. I thought the discipline, the enthusiasm was really good. But then the game starts, and then we just we hit stretches in games where we give in defensively, and then we play very selfishly offensively, which it's a bad recipe. And moments like that, that's where leadership comes in. That's where accountability, somebody stepping up and taking control of that moment comes up. And right now we don't have that. And it's disappointing.
Cam?
Coach, you've talked a couple times this season, and I guess today, about the team's lack of physicality, being afraid to take contact.
Yeah.
How do you go about fixing that, and how frustrating is that, because it's so uncharacteristic of how your teams normally play?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because you guys have been watching my team here for 9 years, and I'm not demanding anything different. I'm not. It's the same group of guys that last year, was pretty good there from that standpoint. We're a good team. We were a postseason team, whatever the heck that means. That's not something that's passed out. That's something that you have to go earn. And but we have not done that at all this year. And our physicality this year leaves a lot to be desired.
Joe?
Coach, you just mentioned some of the tangible things that have gone wrong with this program. From an intangible standpoint, do you sense this team just lacks that belief and confidence, like even when it's making the run back into this game today and they're down 7, that they're going to find a way to close the deal and win this thing? I mean, do you just sense a lack of belief at times, or confidence just being on this losing streak and going through the motions a little bit? Or am I
it's not part of the losing streak. It's been all year. It's what we're talking about. The fact that we've lost the last 4 or 5 games, whatever we've lost, that's got nothing to do with our inability to make those plays. I mean, we're up 7 in the second half at Houston, and the same thing happened. We're up 7 with 6 to play at LSU. Same thing happened. We're down 6 at Tennessee in the second half. Same thing happened. It's been a theme that's gone on all year. And it's the losing streak's got nothing to do with the stuff I'm talking about. This has been going on all year, and we've addressed it. We show film, we talk about it, we practice it. At the end of the day, when that lights come on, I didn't have to yell at Sindarius Thornwell to go get that loose ball. I didn't have to yell at Rakim Felder to go get that loose ball, but we won't get it right now. I was just told in the locker room by one of my staff members that at Tennessee we were 0 for 11 on loose balls. that's, that I don't know what today's stat is, but it's the same deal. We don't come up with we don't make contested layups. We don't make contested plays when the ball's on the balance. It's just there, go get it. We just haven't made those plays. And it's, like I said earlier, after 9 years here, I think, you guys can write about, whatever you want to say, who I am on the sideline and that I yell and all this other, whatever. I really don't care. But the one thing you can't say is that my players ever get out of the way. And, for 35 years, my players have never gotten out of the way. We get out of the way this year. And it's very, very frustrating.
Any more questions for Frank? Joe?
Yeah, Frank, just continuing on that train of thought. I mean, is there any guy you can look at right now? I know you've been trying to probably do this all season, that in this final games, this final stretch, you can say, hey, I want you to try to take charge of this team, because the guys we think should be taking charge don't seem to appear willing to do so. So do you look somewhere else outside of the guys we would figure that should take charge of this moment?
Yeah, Keyshawn's really trying. Keyshawn's really trying. Offensively, he's pressing a little bit. He's trying to do too much. But he's the guy that's really trying to hold this together right now. He's the guy that's trying to do exactly what you're saying. So I can't, when someone has the desire to try and do what you're talking about, I can't then pull him back. I got to let him go. And he had never done that before. And show that personality. And he's trying. I give him credit. He's really trying. But it's been really, really frustrating from that standpoint, Joe, because it caught me completely off guard back in December. And it's been an adventure. The journey we've been on has made it really hard to fix the issues that need to be fixed. But it's I had something today for the first time. I had a player tell me from the court that they have 4 fouls. I've never had anyone ever say to me, hey, I got 4 fouls. It's this whole year has just been the stuff that has happened has just been incredible. It's just every day I go home and it's a new story. I can write a book just on this season alone.
Michael?
Yep. Frank, obviously there are just 3 games left on this regular season schedule. Are you optimistic, or do you think you guys will be able to make up maybe some of the games from earlier in the season, or do you think this is it as far as what you guys are going to be able to play? Yeah,
I don't know, Michael. I know there's been some conversations between our administration and the league office, but there's nothing in stone there right now. I know we got those 3 games to play, and I told you guys a while ago that right now my objective is just to get us to create a personality. It's hard to go into these games and worry about winning and losing because we got no personality, and we don't. I got a big saying is like, what do you stand for? Like my teams all the time, win or lose, you knew what we stood for if you watch us play. Right now, what do we stand for? And so I'm just trying to create a personality right now, something that, like I just said about Keyshawn, he's trying to take on a responsibility that he never asked for before. He's looking to take it now. So that's growth from at least one guy. We gotta build on that. But if it's 3 games, it's 3 games. It's I'm sure those conversations, whenever those conversations get to a place where I don't want to say they're real, but where there's concrete dates, I'm sure somebody will call me and tell me about it.
We'll go last question to Joe.
Coach, I'm curious. The team seems to really like each other despite the on the court issues. Based every time we talk to someone about this team off the court, they seem to really like each other. Does that at least give you hope for how this season could finish? Perhaps I know there's been a lot of struggles, but the sense that these guys do like and care for each other, does at least give you hope that they're going to stay connected and at least fight through the end here?
Yeah, that's the most overrated thing in a team sport, Joe. Let's sit down and have kumbayas and all like each other, but then the game starts and you you get out of the way. I'll tell you who's a guy that no one on the team liked. When I first got here, it was Michael Carrera. No one liked him. He did his own thing off the court. He was wild on the court, and you remember my battles with him when he was young. But as time went on, he made sure players didn't get out of the way. And as time went on, his teammates realized, like, I know this, he's going to have my back when I'm on the court. So you need guys that you've heard me use the word trust. You know, there's guys I get along with and joke around and laugh. I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw all you guys put together. But the guys I trust, sometimes I don't like them a whole lot, but I trust them. And those are the guys I'm willing to line up and go with. And so from that standpoint, Joe, it's I'd rather have a team that gets along than a team that don't get along. But right now we need a Michael Carrera. Senderis the same way. Senderis didn't have, like, he wasn't like a team favorite with his teammates, but he made sure that he held everyone accountable. And we're all chummy. And I tell these guys, I've been telling them for 2 weeks, if I was their teammate, I'd be the most hated guy in the locker room. You asked me the question, so I'm telling you something that I talk about. If I was their teammate, there's not a guy in that locker room who would like me. But I'm not their teammate. I'm their coach. So I can't, some of the things that I would handle as I would if I was a peer, I can't do as a coach. Never have, never will. But they get along. I'd rather have it when they get along. But at the end of the day, I need them to trust and respect our uniform, our culture, our program, and each other. And right now, we got guys that get along and enjoy being around each other. But when the game starts, they kind of don't do it for each other. And, that's a problem.